really, from my perspective, I think every system I've been in so far does it relatively similar. You've
Okay.
got the deep tip, front tip, pause. Then you've got the jumper. Yeah. Before I said that, I was like, all right.
I was probably gonna let you live.
Nah, but those are the names, bro. Like deep tip, front tip. It's like, all right, bro.
This is Breakin House Rules, fellas. Let's do this thing for real. And people loving us a little bit with the pod release, right?
No,
You know?
facts. We've been getting some love for sure. Definitely getting some love.
I thought the funniest thing I saw was people call like loving the professional fan. You kind of explaining who we are, you know, professional athlete, professional reporter, professional fan. Like, what is a professional fan? What is a professional fan, Jay?
So you wear a lot of hats as a professional fan, I'd say. I think I'm gonna create a LinkedIn post basically saying, you know, now hiring as a professional fan. It's a painful but bittersweet thing, I guess you could say. You ride or die with your team, and I think it comes with the emotions of just being a football fan or being a sports fan. You're all in no matter what the hell happens. So that's my take as a fan.
Long-time Dolphin fan. Where are you right now on the professional fan happiness rate?
Yeah, let me know.
I'm always happy, man.
Okay.
I'm always happy.
We
could be.
You're lying.
When I'm watching the games, my emotions are different. But after, I go into every week feeling good about things. Even if we were 0-5 right now, I'm like, all right, whatever. I get to watch football on Sunday.
I like that.
You know?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of fans like that.
No.
Some fans really be tripping, bro. Like some fans really like y'all. Like fans are some of the dopest people, but can be some of the most annoying individuals to deal with because they think that everything is so surface level when a lot of the time it's really not. There's really a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, more than what they can comprehend. So
yeah, I think for me, I've taken like the more I guess mature route as a fan. You know, one for the sake of like, dude, I'm not gonna let it ruin my fucking Monday. You know,
right.
I got a life outside of football, especially like it's not my job. You know, so
facts.
I take everything with a grain of salt. When I'm watching it, I'll get emotional and things like that. That's the beauty of the sport and being a fan.
Right.
But you know, fuck, bro, we don't know half the shit that goes on behind the closed doors. So it's like, who am I to really say anything? You know, it's like, be a little realistic. And I don't think fans are very realistic when it comes to a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of like extreme this way, extreme that way. Like if we're losing, like, oh my God, everybody sucks, trade everybody. Everyone like, these guys are the greatest players I've ever met. Like, bro,
I'm in a group chat that the guys, like after a play, it's not even like the game's not even over. It's a 7-3 ball game. And they're already, dude, blow up the team. Like this is fire Greer, do this, do that. I'm like, guys, it's a 4-point game in the second quarter, and we're driving right now. Like, what are we worried about?
But I mean, that is what makes sports. Like,
it does.
So,
it's everything.
You know what I'm saying? Because people are so passionate behind it that like they'll just lose their mind.
The energy and emotion. Like I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan, so we just lost this fast, and I was like yelling at the TV.
Exactly.
But then I calm down after the game. It's usually during the game where I'm at my intense mode, and so I don't think I've gone to the fire everybody mode. But I get it, and as a reporter, you hear it all like from the perspective of, okay, fans want to hear you hold people accountable.
Right.
But at the same time, we know stuff they don't know. They know stuff that we don't know or the fans don't know.
Right.
So it's just all layers. So it's interesting that we're creating this content in this space, like with all of us, you know, a fan, a reporter, and a player, because we all have different perspectives. We just kind of learn and tell our stories from our own landscape.
Yeah,
so.
I definitely agree. I mean, like, I'm
You're
a fan.
Oregon fan.
Think
about the reaction.
I mean, I went to Oregon. You know, when you commit to a school in college, big dubs. Shout out Ohio State for that dub. Y'all left it out there. Y'all suck. But nah, like as an Oregon fan, when I committed there, they were like, you know, you're not just, you know, in Oregon for 4 years, you're Oregon for 40 years, like your whole life. So when I first left, you know, you kind of like, oh yeah, I just went there. Like I know the guys on the team, I'm watching the games. But as I get, you know, the time for me being there and me, you know, living my life, as that grows wider, I just start to like really lock in, like, who is this dude right here? Whatever. I'm looking at where he's from. I'm like, okay, like I like North Texas. All right, I like this guy. Like, you know what I mean? So I really started to dive into who these players are and the scheme and watching the games and really being a part of that. So this past weekend was great for me as a fan. I was loving it. Oregon got the double with Ohio State, but being a fan and having like sports teams. I was talking about this with a homeboy of mine. Like just in other sports as well, golf, hockey, baseball, basketball. It gives you that experience that as an athlete you don't always get. So I really do enjoy it.
And it makes us feel like we're part of the team. So like I know for you are a part of a team, but for a lot of us, we might have played sports on a high school, college level, but we don't have that locker room feel.
Yeah.
We get it on a given Sunday. If we're rooting for the Dolphins or if I'm rooting for Philly, we feel like it's us.
Yeah.
I hear fans say it all the time. We gonna do like it really is not we. But I get it. You
but
feel
it is
like
though. I agree. Like we win, y'all win, we win. Y'all lose, I lose. Like, you know what I'm saying? I lose money. You know what I'm saying? So definitely for sure.
Let me ask you this, Vaughn, because you talked about the fans, and I think a lot of people have the idea, and even coaches say it of like, oh, just ignore the noise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, has there ever been a fan comment or something said to you that you remember, like that is the wildest thing somebody said to me?
I'm not gonna lie, we had lost to, I think it was the Seahawks. Like this was recent. We just lost to the Seahawks. Somebody DM'd me, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. But somebody DM'd me and was like, it was so crazy. They were like, instead of the Twin Towers, they should have blown up the Miami facility. Like everybody, all the players, and then like on the plane ride home, just crashed the plane, forced everybody, like forced forced the team to like emergency draft players off other teams.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, reading this to my girlfriend in the car ride home. She's like, people are insane. I'm like, people are really insane.
You know what that sound like? My man lost his parlay, bro. My man lost his parlay.
God knows. That's personal shit.
People lose money, they start doing crazy things, man. Like,
well, look at the fantasy DMs that some of these players get. Like, that shit's crazy.
That is wild. I'm just thinking about that. Like, you telling somebody to crash a plane the whole, like, over a loss?
Crash a plane. The first time that happened to me, like with bets, it was my freshman year at Oregon. We were playing Wazoo, and I had like gone up for a pick, and the receiver was like on top of me. When I hit the ground, my chest lifted up, and he like pulled the ball. So I almost had a pick, but he ended up catching it. They kicked the field goal, won the game. It wasn't like the defining play, but like it happened. And then my homeboy Johnny Johnson like had dropped a deep ball or something, or something happened with me and Johnny. For this dude to DM me on Twitter and was like, bro, I just lost $5K. Like, meet me in the quad at Oregon. Like, we got to throw him. I'm like, bro, man, nigga, you want to fight? Like, let's go. Like, meet me in the quad. You really want to do that? He ended up replying to me. But I was hot, bro. In the car ride. I'm like, bro, there's no way.
That's a Temecula, Meet me out of Temecula.
Like, bro, it's crazy.
That's insane.
So you mentioned flying a plane. And one of the other comments we got from people reacting was the Helen Keller hot take from Vaughn saying he didn't think that she could, like, how did she learn to read, to write, and to fly a plane? Like, I think that created a lot of conversation for people who either thought about it and was like, somebody said it, or like, wait, how did they? Like, what are the comments you've got from people reacting to that?
A couple people have told me, like, the person that, I don't know the person's name that told her. Nellie Fern?
Fern.
She was like, she wrote in her palm and like explained it to her in her palm. I'm like, first of all, how does that even, how does that make sense? How does she diagnose that information? No one's telling. Anyway, they're like, yeah, so she wrote in her palm. Other people were like, bro, I never thought about it, but
the plane thing is actually fucking insane.
Fly a plane?
Bro, that's crazy.
Bro, I have all my abilities. I couldn't even imagine
because that same educator that everyone talks about that taught her how to read and write, right? Who the hell was the educator on the plane? Who's that person?
Who greenlit that? Like, who was like, you know what?
And the other thing is a different era, right? Like now, technology has evolved where like I think pilots don't like do all the efforts to fly. 100 years ago, you doing a lot of work.
You're doing a lot of work. You're doing a lot of button pushing and flipping switches. Come on now. I don't know what kind of plane she was flying. Maybe they lifted it off the ground for her. She's sitting in the, co-pilot seat.
Right, exactly.
And then they're like, all right, pop over here. She talking about where? You know what I'm saying? They move her in the seat and then she start flying. But I don't know, man. Yeah, and I apologize if that offends anybody. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there with disabilities and they can't see, can't hear.
And she created a lot of hope for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing that I will say about that, because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be upset about anything we say throughout this podcast.
100%.
I will say on behalf of me and Vaughn, you can speak. I might say some stuff that is not politically correct. And it may be insensitive to the topic. I'm not trying to,
of course,
but it's just what comes off the top of your head. And sometimes, you know, the platform for this podcast is to be ourselves, to be fun in different settings. And so if we're for y'all, we're for y'all. If we're not for y'all,
hey man, if we're not for y'all, appreciate y'all coming to watch, man. But hey, you're just not going to enjoy yourself.
Exactly.
But yeah.
But I think the other thing that we want to do with this pod is talk about how we are, you know, in mental health. And I know, Dre, for you personally, that's a space that you're in a lot. Yep. And I think a great place for us to talk about is where we are now, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. So bye week, right? How you had the week off? You had the week off.
Yeah.
How you guys feeling? How was the week off? How's everyone doing?
I was good. You know, I had planned to go to the Oregon game. Unfortunately, I broke my hand. As you can see, that's why I got this like thingy on. So surgery went well. Everything was straight. You know, nice and fixed up. But I mean, it was cool. You know, I got to sit at the crib and kind of reflect on space, like where I want my space in my house. I like most of my shit is in the garage, and like that's where I made my area for me to kind of just decompress. My woman has a space in the house as well. She has an area to decompress. And I haven't been using that space much because all my free time I've been, going to golf and out on the course, whatnot. So now that I'm like, I don't have that ability to go out there and golf anymore, I have to like kind of, reassemble that space. So that's what I was doing this weekend and just kind of rethinking like how I want to approach, personal time and like, refreshment time and things like that. So I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm in a good place.
Oh yeah.
That's good. That's good, especially like mentally.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people think about things from the football space, especially with your hand. First thing I thought about, man, that golf game is going to be rough, bro.
That's
like,
the first thing I told
Bob's a lefty, it might take a little bit.
Sorry.
Like
I'm glass half full, man. I'm glad. I was working my putting, one hand putting, get my putting down. It'll be all right. Take some strokes off my game. I ain't tripping.
Hey, we all can use more work on our putting games, right?
Oh, yeah.
Bye week was good for me. Like, I don't often have the schedule that goes with the Dolphins, but it worked out this week. NFL Network's got some games in London, and so I'm not in London, so I had this Sunday off, and so me and the wifey actually went to Colombia. We took a little trip going to Colombia. I went with the wifey. We went to Colombia. It was good vibes, though. It was good vibes. We had a lot of adventure out there. We went like paragliding.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
We climbed. We went to Guatape and Medellin. And so Guatape, we were in
Cartagena?
like, huh? Nah, we didn't go to Cartagena. Hey, bro.
Hey,
we chilling.
It's abundant. It doesn't matter where in Colombia you're at.
Hey, we had a great time. It was vibes, adventure, culture,
nice.
everything you can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually very inexpensive there. Like,
dude. No,
like,
you get out there and you live like a king.
Yeah, I was having five-star meals. I'm looking at the meal. I'm like, hey, bring me another steak, bro. I'm not even hungry, but bring me another steak. Right. Well, I'm not going to get a steak for $20 US dollars, like a real steak.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Like, we did a couple five-star dinners and like the equivalent of like $100, $150. Some of you spend like $500 for the steaks. Get Ubers for like $2.
I'm definitely.
I remember last time I went out there because my girl's fam is from Colombia,
right.
And the first time I went out there, we went to dinner. I started looking at the prices, and I'm like, nah, this can't be real.
Yeah.
So it was like her mom, her dad, her grandma, her cousins, and I'm like, bro, I got the tab. Don't worry about it. It was like 8 people, and it was like $120. And I'm like, dude, that shit would have cost me like $800.
Yep.
In my wine, appetizers.
So like, what goes into that? I mean, I'm just.
It's just their Colombian dollar.
Yeah, their
Colombian dollar. They have a Colombian dollar.
Yeah,
that's essentially.
It's like a quarter of the value.
$4,200 to one of our dollars. And so like something might cost like 20,000 Colombian dollars, but it might be like $4 for $5.
Okay. I didn't know if it was an inflation thing.
No, it's a little bit of inflation for sure, and then it's just our dollar is worth so much more compared to theirs. So like $20 over there is like.
Yeah, I heard Argentina. Like if you go to Argentina, like you should try to like transfer money. It's
Mm-hmm.
hella bread. Like you can get briefcases of like 20.
That's why a lot of people go over there to retire. So they take their US dollars over and they go somewhere to Central South America, and they're like, screw it, I'm just gonna go live over here and pay dirt like pennies on the dollar, basically.
Hey man, I'm already trying to get a house there. We're gonna figure it out. Once the NFL gets to that international tidbit, I'll volunteer to be the international
that would be tough.
International reporter. So I'm in good vibes. I think it was refreshing. Like the summer was a little rough for us, so we didn't get a chance to go to vacay. So it was like a good vacay, getting an adventure, doing a bunch of stuff. Like it was just relaxing. So now I'm recharged. I feel like I can attack the rest of the season.
You know what actually had me spooked though, low key? It was a hurricane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it almost messed everything up.
So that also was the reason why I didn't go. Because I mean, even with like the hand and everything, like I was like, no, I can still, But the hurricane, I was like,
yeah, no,
nah.
That west coast of Florida, I feel terrible for them. They, back to back.
Right, it's scary, bro. Like it's
part of living in Florida.
It just popped up.
Yeah,
even like there's supposed to be another one like Nadine or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, like
I know.
And there's nothing you can do about it. Like you just prep. Like I went and bought a generator. I went and bought like sandbags and all this stuff, and then it didn't hit. Right. So you like, oh man, but like, what if it did hit?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The one time you're gonna be thinking, hey, I don't gotta prep, bro. It's gonna be the one time.
I swear, bro.
I'll tell you this though. Like I've lived in South Florida my whole life. Obviously, we're like in the epicenter of hurricanes and storms and all that. It's in the summer. It's a little sometimes exaggerated what you see on the
TV,
news. You know. I know they gotta do their job, and they gotta obviously prepare people, and they do a phenomenal job of doing that, right? And it's not obviously to spook people, but at the end of the day, like you gotta really like take everything with a grain of salt. Do your own research, kind of like off the side with anything, like because I'm kind of a weather nerd, so I've always just been like
weatherman.
I love the tornado shit. Like growing up, like I wanted to chase tornadoes when I was a kid, and I would watch the tornado shows, and I think I almost like wanted to become a meteorologist at one point. Like that's how much I like that shit. So there's a guy that I follow on IG, and he like gives you the raw like true weather facts. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to you, and what you say is usually like the right shit. And West Coast, obviously, they got hit hard.
Yeah, Tampa.
And you got to be prepared. Got back to back. You got to evacuate because that 10-foot surge, bro, that's higher than your house.
That's crazy. Like you don't really think about 10 feet of water.
And there's some psychos that stay. There's like videos of guys in the kayaks inside their house, and they're just riding out a storm. That's crazy.
So you said you wanted to be like a meteorologist.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you think about chemtrails?
About chemtrails? I mean, I think it's a legit thing, and I think the conspiracy behind it is something.
I think it's valid. I mean, I'm not too much of a conspiracy theorist. But Poe be sending me a lot of stuff.
Up there, you're like, bro, that doesn't look normal.
I was like,
sending me a lot of stuff.
Imagine what Jordan Poyer be said to you, bro.
He sent me some information about chemtrails and how they're dropping like lithium in the sky.
Right.
Yeah.
And then these like water pellets to affect the magnitude of hurricanes. In North Carolina, it was like a 1 in 1 millionth level of water that dropped in North Carolina, and now like an entire town literally just gets swept away. Like they've never seen something like that before over North Carolina. So then I started watching the video, and they're like, this just doesn't happen. Like this is, and to not be prepared and give an evacuation order or anything like that.
It was the one place they weren't talking about.
Could have gone wrong because you seen in Dubai, it was like that rainstorm, the like crazy ass storm that they had.
Yeah.
Same thing happened. They was like trying to change the weather, and then God was like, nah.
I mean, apparently they've been trying to do that shit since like the 80s, like way back. I was talking to my uncle about this. I'm an optimistic person when it comes to people's behaviors, and I would assume that you can't alter weather for the sake of like political shit and things like that. But there's people out there that believe that there's powerful people that are willing to do pretty much anything at the expense of humanity, which I try not to get into that, where I'm like, bro, come on, we can't be that shitty of a society. But then again, it's a possibility for sure. I definitely don't discount it.
It's definitely in the DNA of humans.
Oh yeah. I won't put anything beyond people.
100%.
Yeah.
No, there's some. Yeah.
So Vaughn, obviously, you were talking about your hand a little bit.
Right.
What happened? Like take us into what happened. I don't know what you call it. You got a name for your glove for?
Nah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? A little Mike Jack, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? A little Mike Jack compression sleeve. But
that's Halloween now, right?
A little Halloween. You know what I'm saying? I might do it. I was actually thinking about it on the way here, like what I want to call it. Anyway, so I was on a play, like we were in coverage. I was like supposed to cover 3. He ends up running a corner. It could have been a switch call, but it was just like happening fast. It kind of went no huddle. And so I didn't really hear it. So I'm like on 3. So he ends up running a corner route. Jay Rams is the nickel, and he ends up breaking on it too. So I'm underneath it. Jay Rams is above it, and it gets close to the sideline. I think it was Jalen Polk who went to catch it on that sideline. And I went to like lift him up out of bounds because I seen him like jump for the ball. So I went to lift him up out of bounds. And as I was doing so, Ramsey was going to hit him to try to dislodge the ball from him. So he kind of hit me while he was hitting Jalen. Mm-hmm. And then as I was going to the ground, I just like put my hand on the ground. So I'm like bracing while also trying to like push off and roll over so I don't just like fall straight on my face. And so with that push off and roll over twisting motion and the pushing motion, it was kind of like one in a million that I ended up breaking the second metacarpal on my hand. It was weird, man. It was it was a weird thing. But as soon as I put my hand down to like brace, I felt it just like.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like it didn't hurt. I mean, adrenaline's pumping through my veins, so I'm like,
adrenaline is real, dog.
And you see me on the film, like kind of lay there because everybody, like the Patriots, trying to help their guy up. So I kind of like sat there and I went to like get up off my hand and I said, I was like, hold up, wait a minute.
That's different.
Looked at my hand, I was like, got up, jogging the sideline in my glove. I'm like, damn. So I'm thinking it's my knuckle on my index finger that just like got dislocated or something. I was low key worried. I'm like, damn, like I've never had a dislocated knuckle. Like, is it gonna hurt to put it back in? Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I got to the sideline, and I took my glove off, and it was almost like dented right here. And I'm like, damn. Start moving around. I felt it like click, 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 click.
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, trainer. They came over. They looked. I was like, is it straight? They're like, yeah, we're gonna have to take a look at this. I was like, damn. So I was upset, and I was like real frustrated because I mean, when something like that happens, it's like, you know, you just so like shaken away because I'm expecting to go back in the game.
Right.
And I was pissed in the locker room. Like I was really upset.
Was there like a conversation, or was it immediate that you were out? Like, did they know it was broken?
Yeah,
then?
they got like these cool little doohickeys in the training room, and they like, you know, scanned it and stuff, and I made sure that everything was straight. But based off their knowledge and the doctor's knowledge, they were like, yeah, it's broken, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's like clear, cut and dry. A lot of the time with like ligaments and tendons and, you know, things like that and muscles, they're kind of, it could be this, but it could be that based on how you feel. We don't really know the level of degree until we get a real image on it. But with bones, they're so cut and dry. Not as cut and dry, or not like, you know, like super black and white, but they're really black and white. And so when something's like structurally wrong, they're like, oh yeah, that's broken.
Yeah.
But the good thing about bones is that they heal really strong and they heal relatively fast, especially if you're taking the right supplements and taking the right, you know, necessary steps. So I'm not too worried about it. But at the time, I'm like, damn, like, oh my God, like I was like one of those fans, like just extremely like, oh my God, it's all in my head. But no, I was definitely upset. And then like after it settled down, like 15 minutes later, I was like, damn, my golf game's gonna. No, fact.
Dang, man, that power is gonna take a little bit to.
Man, I had the whole thing set up, man. I was about to go to Oregon, about to watch the Ohio State game, I was about to golf in Oregon. Come on, man. Eastmoreland, Rose City. Oh,
yeah.
On.
So this is the first major injury for you, right?
Well, surgical, yeah.
Surgical?
Yeah.
Got you. What's surgery like? Like for a lot of us, we may never break a hand or like what? Like I don't know if you were awake for much of it.
So, bro, let me tell you. So I get to the hospital, right, and they're, you know, kind of take me through the thing, and then you get to the point where like there's all like the setup, right? For so they're like, okay, like put the gown on. I'm like, all right, cool. So put the gown on.
Yeah. What color was the
blanket? Gown was like gray. It was like grayish blanket. Yeah. I'm at Baptist Health, so I put the gown on. I sit in the little hospital bed. I'm like, all right, like, you know what I'm saying, shit's a little comfortable, all right, whatnot. Then they got to put the IV in. I'm like, all right. Usually I get IV on this arm. They IV on my hand. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Kind of hurt a little bit, but I wasn't tripping. You know what I'm saying? IVs, you know, they're needles. I'm kind of squeamish a little bit.
Easier, yeah.
But I'm sitting there, you know, they got the little boop, boop. I'm like, that better not flatline. Like, I'm good. I know I'm good, but still, like, seeing that, I'm like, that's a little too realistic. Right. So it was cool, bro. Like, just, it was kind of surreal being in that, because I watched Grey's Anatomy, so I'm just kind of like looking around like, this is just like the movie. And so people, the anesthesiologist came and they ask you like the same questions over just so that they really make sure that you're okay with everything. So they're like, yeah, we're going to put the cocktail in. I'm like, yeah, cool, cook it up. Like, yeah, just a little bit to like, you know, make you feel it. Then we'll put the rest of the anesthesia in once you pass through. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm in the chair and they're pushing me towards the surgery. Like, we put the cocktail in. I'm like, yeah, you know, this is just like Grey's Anatomy. They're like, yeah, you know, it really is. Then, you know, the two double doors they push through. That was the last thing I saw. It was the two double doors, and I just remember,
man was out.
Next thing I know, I'm like, like,
yeah.
I look at my hand, like, oh, surgery went great. And I'm like, okay, great. And I'm like, in and out.
Yeah.
Close my eyes. And it's like a movie when someone gets like chloroform drugged in the back of a van. They like open their eyes. Like in Day and Night. But then that was a reference to Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise, if you guys didn't know. I'm just saying.
I missed that.
I didn't get it, but that,
Day and Night's a movie. She like gets knocked out and like she's waking up and then going back and then waking up.
We gotta pull up.
Pull that clip up because that's literally what it felt like.
I believe you. I'm just saying I've never seen that movie.
I happen to do that sometimes. Like I'll be talking about something and then it'll remind me and I'll just kind of throw it in there.
I like the movie reference.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure that you're on the same page.
I got you. I got you.
But nah, yeah, it was cool. It was hard to really like get out of the anesthesia because you want to just like wake up, like waking up out of sleep, but you really have to like give it time to shake out. I forced myself to throw up so I could just.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, just I was right home. I was like, yo, I'm just gonna pull a trigger.
That's what gets the anesthesia out of you?
For me, that's what worked. Yeah. I don't know if that's the proper way. They're like, yeah, you might be nauseous. I'm like, all right, I'm in the car, like bumpy and stuff. I'm like, yo, like pull over real quick. Yeah. Just pull a trig. I felt better, drink some water, I was straight. So,
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the concept of surgery is wild. I did anesthesia one time. Yeah. And they put the mask on me.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember same thing. I'm there talking to the doctor. I was talking something about like the keys or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And then
distraction.
Yeah. And then the next thing I wake up, I'm in another room. I don't even know if I had the surgery. I just wake up. And then I remember going over to like reach for my phone and being like, oh fuck yeah. All right, yeah, I had the surgery.
What'd you get surgery on?
I got a hernia, like a inguinal hernia. Fuck. So they had to put a mesh like there in my intestines area. It was actually like surgery was chilling. Like, don't remember anything about it. It was done. It was sore as shit for like 2 days, but I was good after.
Yeah.
But the concept of it is wild. Like one moment you're good, the next moment you're out.
Like,
and you have no idea what the fuck happened.
Imagine you're like going to get surgery and they're like, yeah, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying, fix whatever, fix your wrist or something. You go under and then you wake up and like, yeah, so we took your kidney.
Yeah, that's like
whoa.
Yeah, what could have happened?
You know what I mean? Like you literally you don't feel
control.
anything.
Nothing.
That's why I seen those rappers get rappers, athletes, they go under for anesthesia, get tattoos.
Got you. You might as well do it while you're there.
Oh, I would definitely do that.
Yeah,
I mean, smart. For the amount they're asking for, no.
Yeah.
But I would definitely do that if that was an option.
You got like a full back tat. It's gonna take 8 hours. I'm already having surgery.
I'm already out.
Go
for it.
Yeah. So you mentioned for you personally, like the mental aspect of that. Like I'm curious for you, the initial thought, like let's call it what it is. You're in a contract year. You know, you're thinking about your like what was that mental process of like, damn, what is this gonna mean?
Bro, it was really like 10, 15 minutes where I was like, fuck, like I just fucked my hand up, like again, and then like after that I was like, you know what, this was probably already written.
Yeah.
Like it was something that needed to happen so that something else could heal. You know what I mean?
That's real. That's real.
And you got like other nicks and bruises and whatnot. Like I had hurt my ankle earlier in the year, and so like that's like that's like still it's good, but like it was been getting better.
Yep.
And so I hurt my hand. I'm like, you know what? It gives my time for my ankle to be back to 100%, or for my shoulder to be straight. Like I had made a tackle earlier in the game, and like my ribs like bruised my ribs because like it was a hard ass hit. So I was like, just give my ribs time to heal. You know what I mean? That was kind of my thought process. But really, I was just thinking like, it was already written, and can't do nothing about it now. It's just already broken. Not like I can unbreak it. So just to go through the surgery, take the time to heal, and But I figured that because of that, and that happened, it made me stay home and realize that I needed that space to really rethink that space, like I was talking about earlier. So I'm like, damn, if I never would have gone through that, I would have continued to put my, my piece into golf, and I wouldn't have that same feeling at home. And I needed that area at home so I could really continue to, have that peace of mind and area where I can go and relax. So
that's real. Like the peace of mind tip too. Like a lot of times as men, we just push through everything and we outlet it in our ways, like you said, for golf. But like to be able to be forced to outlet it,
facts.
I think that's dope.
No doubt.
And I know for you, like last year you had the knees, right? And like I think a lot of times people don't know the pain you deal with, but also just like the stress and pressures. And we were talking about this offline, like maybe what did that teach you, about like how you go about your process of returning? Because obviously broken hand, it takes time to heal, right? Yeah. But then you have fans who are in the comments like, hey bro, it's just a hand. wrap it up. Be out
wrap
there
that shit up, man. Fucking go. Like, bro.
Tell him the one that you got of the heart thing.
Oh yeah, the guy was like, his hand's far away from his heart. Fucking wrap it up and play it. Like, bro, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? But wild. Back to your point. Being injured for that long, and it was really only like 4 weeks, and I came back.
It was. But
it was longer in my head.
Yes, because you wanted to play,
right?
And then it was like every week, because I remember being on the sideline with you, and it was like, it doesn't feel quite right yet. So like you were getting yourself ready. I think it would have been different if like you knew, I'm on IR for 4 weeks.
Like, yo,
or
you're
like,
done for, you know what I'm saying?
I gotta be out.
Yeah.
The fact that like you hadn't been completely shut down, but you didn't feel right, it's like that's a different space, right? Because like even as you go about your process going to hand, like there's gonna be levels, right? Like some point you're gonna be 60% or 80% or 90%. You gotta decide, okay, like when am I ready versus like when the doctors are ready versus like when all the fans think I should be ready.
Bro, there's 4. There's when am I actually ready? When do the doctors say that I'm ready? When do the fans want me to be ready? And when does a team need me to be ready?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So last year when I was injured, like we had a good stretch of teams that we were able to handle, you know, for lack of better terms.
Yep.
And on paper.
Yep.
And we had a stretch of like, you know, it was the Ravens, the Bills, and the Cowboys. Where I was like, I gotta be back for these games.
Mm-hmm.
Not because you know, the doctors are gonna clear me or whatnot, but because I know my team needs me. I need to be out there for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So that part of it was really hard for me because like you said, it's not like I'm okay, you're out for 4 weeks, rest, heal, and then after the 4 weeks, how are you? It was like every week was like, yo, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? And I'm like, just them checking in on me and them asking me how am I doing and you know, what am I feeling to make sure that I'm okay, both mentally and physically and emotionally. It wasn't their intention to make me feel like, hey, like, come on, pick it up. They're just checking on me like, yo, how's it going? Are you good? You know what I mean? To see the progress. I can't do anything but allow my body to heal because nothing that I can do is going to speed it up, you know, besides, you know, medicine or whatnot, things like that, modalities. But I'm doing the things necessary to get back on the field so I can do my job. But when I'm hurt, my job is to do the things necessary to get back on the field. So that's what I'm doing. It just put me in a place that made me feel almost like anxious to get back out there, even though my body's not ready. And them asking me and checking up on me made me feel like I needed to get back out there because they're expecting me to, not they're just checking on me to check on me, which was really their intention.
Right.
So now that perspective, and after everything was over and everything like that, I kind of in the off season I like reset my my rehab because I wanted to do everything from the beginning back to where I am now, so that I could feel that gradual step up process. Because like I said, like I didn't play in the Kansas City game because I was like, I'm not affecting. I didn't play in the Bills game because I was like, I'm like Brandon's doing way more than I can physically do right now, and I know that, and I'm hurting the team being out here. So that for me was like a real step back and really reflect on myself, and then that changed my perspective to heal. Now, like I can only do what I can do, and right now all I can do is keep my hand elevated. You know, open it and close it, make sure I'm getting the inflammation out and allowing it to heal because everything else is, you know, I can wrap it up whenever, but once the pain goes away, then I can start to, you know, move in more space. But right now, all I can do is what I can do, and that is all I can control. So, you know, if it's already written, it's already written. I can just take the steps necessary to get back to that point.
100%.
Right. Yeah. And setbacks are real. You don't want that to derail your entire season.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and people get injured like every week. And when you look at, you know, injury reports and stuff, like there's always somebody out. There's always somebody down. There's always a player that's injured. And it's always next man up. Well, when it happens to you, you don't realize how many people actually go through injuries all the time. Yeah. So when it happens to you, you start to think, damn, like, am I as good as they say? Am I, you know, still the same player? Am I this? Am I that? Like, you start to doubt yourself. Yeah. You know, I was having a conversation with a leadership professional, and he said, you know, majority of people think out of 10 think of themselves as like a 2.7, and when something happens, you're very close to, damn, am I nothing? And then once something happens to them that negatively affects them, you start to think, wow, like I'm a mistake, or this was, you know, this is it for me, right? And what you really want to do is try to get yourself to a 7 and think of yourself as a 7, so that when you do have something that hurts you or does have something that affects you, you don't think, damn, like, am I this, you know, I must be a mistake. Or you won't really want to think about it as like, damn, like this is happening to me for a reason, and I can affect it. I can change and get to, you know, a higher level based off of this one hurdle because it's going to teach me something. So that's my perspective right now.
That perspective is great, bro. Like I'm sitting here learning from that, just through that. Like we all have elements of life. It may not be a broken hand. Right. It may be something else, but like we all have something that can be broken in a point of time. Ooh. And how we channel that energy, like you talked about, whether it's your mental space, whether it's your therapy, or whether how you view yourself. Like I think that's a great perspective, because like if we're broken in space, already before we actually get broken in a moment, then it's double healing. Like, and I think as you explained that, it hit to me a different level. And I'm like, it's more than just a hand. It's more, it's
a lot, man. It really is. It's your identity. Because like, especially being a football player, like as much as, you can do other things in life, everything is always going to fall back on ball.
Yep.
Right. So when you're injured, when you're not in a place to play, or when you're in a difficult situation, you really start to question your ability to go out there and make plays. Like being injured is more of a emotional, mental scar than it is a physical, because those physical scars are going to heal. Your body does that naturally. Whether you want it to heal fast or slow, the body's going to eventually heal itself to a certain degree. It's the mental part that can be affected, and just you can be in a terrible space. And you see that in a lot of athletes that go through tough injuries and can never make it back or end up retiring because they're in a space of just like, I don't think I am, what I am. I don't think I am what I was. You know what I mean? And your body really focuses on what you tell it to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you close your eyes and you look around the room and find everything red. I think Tony Adams, he's like a motivational
Tony
speaker.
Robbins.
Tony Robinson did this with Theo Vaughn. He said, close your eyes and look around close your eyes and look at everything brown in the room. And then he opened his eyes and he's trying to find everything brown. He's like, okay, tell me what you saw that was red. And he couldn't tell him.
Right.
And then he said, okay, close your eyes and tell me what you see. Everything red in the room, tell me if you see it. And so he's looking, he's like, you found a lot of red, right? And then he asked him, when you were looking around and you saw things that were close to brown, did you categorize them as brown even though they weren't? And he was like, yeah. He was like, well, that's because you're trying to do everything possible to put in that category to accomplish or to put yourself in a position to be successful. So if you think about, or a position to align yourself with what you're thinking about. So if you're thinking that you're never going to be what you were, or you're never going to get back to a position, that you were previously, or you don't have the education level for something, then you'll never get there because you're telling, your millions of cells that we're not enough, or we're not going to get there. But if you're constantly thinking like in an optimistic mindset, or you're, positive, or just neutral, like we're here and we can get here.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then you're going to have an opportunity to get there mentally so that you can put yourself there, emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
So
that's real. That's real. Yeah. Well, we hope that the heal's up and you be out there on the football field. Yeah. But more importantly, hope that you continued on this journey so that you're in a space where when you're back to the top level Vaughn that you could be.
My mindset is half the battle. And the fact that you're already thinking about it like that, I mean, you're 10 steps ahead of probably most people.
Absolutely. Do you know when you're back if you have to play with a cast?
I'm sure I do. Yeah, I'm sure I do. I would want to.
You would want to?
Yeah, just because, or like a split, something to protect it.
It'd be kind of
cool. Yeah, no, for real. Like honestly, the way I'm thinking it, I'm like, hey, if I can get like, like a cool like boxing glove, then like I could be effective with that. Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Like I could be relatively effective. And like trying to, as long as I can do a little bit of like wrist flexion, then that'll be straight. Because I want to be, if I tackle, like be able to like.
Just gotta practice those one-handed catches.
You know what I'm saying? That's never been a problem.
I was about to say the catch would be the one thing, the tackling,
put like
the other, but the forced fumble rating would go up it's already high. Right. It might hit 99 if you got the catch.
I'll try, man. I'll try.
Is there anything at home that is more difficult now?
Man, tying shoes is so
hard.
Bro, tying shoes is so hard.
I can see that.
Holding a pan, like trying to, like, damn, I can't hold the pan.
It's crazy.
Turning, you don't realize, like, turning is hard. And I don't realize that I turn a lot with my fingers. Like, opening cans. Like, did you see me struggling to open this? I went like this. I was like, nah. So opening things. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it. And it's weird. Like, it's sore in weird places because it's not like something I hurt previously. Like I've never done it before. So the surgery like just puts soreness in weird spots. Yeah. So it doesn't like, it's not sore if I do a certain movement, but if I do another one, like I'm like how do I combat? Like how do I, use my finger in a way that it won't hurt? It's just crazy, weird, man. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's
it does. It does. It's a different journey. It's a different journey.
It's strange, man. That was my first surgery and everything too. So I was kind of like, had to respond from that if I'm gonna have any effects from like,
True.
Yeah. But hey, blessed that it's my first surgery. Blessed that it's only my hand. It could be, I could not have be able to run. And I've been in that position. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even in that position, I was like blessed that nothing was torn.
Right.
Blessed that I didn't have to get no surgery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but you're gonna heal. You're gonna be back this year.
Yeah. You know what I'm
You'll
saying? A
be
little bit of vitamin C. You know what I'm saying? Vitamin D, 2% milk.
All of it good.
2%.
He's not damn as good. I think I saw some where people was like, "Oh, let's trade Vaughn because you know."
Oh, bro.
You know, I get into the fans. I see those, bro. I be like, they be like, "No, trade him, bro. He's trash." I'll be like, "Damn, I'm trash." Hey, bro. Hey, look. If you think I'm trash, man, why you follow me on Twitter, bro?
Yeah.
I'm trash,
Go home.
Bro.
It wasn't too long ago, and this will segue us to the next point, that Vaughn, you had the highlight of the season at one point where you caught the pick 6 Hail Mary against the Jets on Black Friday. Unfortunately, that was also the game we got hurt.
That was
also the game I fucked up my knees, man.
We'll forget about that.
It was a highlight.
But it popped in my head again on Monday because I'm watching the Bills-Jets game, and Aaron Rodgers is somehow excellent at this Hail Mary.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's like right at the end of the half, he's throwing it. It's like a 55-yard pass, like
They're
yardage,
showing all
but
the
it's probably like
highlights
65.
of the amount of times that he's done it too.
Yeah, he throws it, and Alan Lazard catches it. And my initial thought, like, as a guy who, I didn't play very long, but I played DB, I'm like, man, I can't imagine what that film room gonna be like.
I know it hurts.
Because these coaches, like,
gonna be like,
you ain't think it was just bet it down? Like, you just watching, huh?
Because it's gonna pop up. The play's gonna pop up, and everybody that's involved, whether it's the guy that got a box out, the guy that's the tip guy, and then like the jumper, everybody is gonna be like.
And they gonna rewind. I know the coach gonna rewind it like 4 or 5 times.
And it's a new head coach.
Yeah.
They just had their
McDermott also called the timeout right before that play. He's like, yo, they're going to throw a Hail Mary here.
Yeah. I know they're sick, but I mean.
Yes. And it's happened to the Bills a couple times, like with that at the end of the game. Yeah. So it's like probably like a scab. Like they won. So it's still good vibes, but it's gonna be like you said, I don't know if it's today. I don't know if they got a victory. Maybe they got a victory Tuesday or whatnot. But like, it's gonna be rough. So like, take us into that. You were talking about the roles. Like, what does it look like? Is every defense you've been in the same as far as Hail Mary defense?
So that's a good question. Everybody has like a different perspective on how they want to attack. Like, you know, end of game, end of half. Hail Mary, because a lot of people do like some pretty interesting things. Like, you know, I remember the Ravens, they have everybody going vertical and then one guy at the goal line, like being super far to the other pylon, the quarterback will throw it there, which in reality is kind of a good move because everybody's all relaxed and everything, and then the guy just breaks. So really from my perspective, I think every system I've been in so far does it relatively similar. You've got, you know, the deep tip, front tip, pause. Then you've got the jumper. Yeah. Before I said that, I was like,
I was probably gonna let you live.
But those are the names, bro. Like deep tip, front tip. It's like, all right, bro. Anyway. So you got those two guys, and then you got the jumper who's told to jump up, knock it down, and then you got every guy that's in man to man on the receivers to box out, so that it's difficult for the receivers to jump. So in my opinion, and I was talking to Poe about this. The best way to effectively knock the ball down is to treat it like a punt.
Okay.
Or treat it like a kickoff. Okay. Because the ball's coming in the same trajectory, right? So for the deep tip guy and the jumper and maybe the short tip, if you have them, or if you just have jumpers.
This guy.
Bro, we got different titles.
All right, we just go. They're the jumpers, just the jumpers, right? I said pause the first time. Right? I let it slide the second time. Like, anyway, for the jumpers to be in the back of the end zone, once the ball is thrown, then for them to go attack the ball, it'll give them a better angle to go and knock the ball down or go and catch the ball. In my opinion, go up and catch it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for that situation, it's hard because I think it was Teron Johnson who was on Alan Lazard, and he was boxing him out.
Yep.
He was doing his job, but then Lazard
just overjumped him.
He jumped back. A lot of the time, if you don't fully extend your arms, then you won't get the pass interference, especially if an offense. It's just offensive league, they want people to score. So if you're in the middle of jumping and you give like a little shove, just enough to like make me go forward like that, and he jumps back and away, I'm never gonna be able to get that.
No matter how
I jump. You know what I'm saying? That's a difficult thing. That's a difficult ask.
Yeah.
So for him to lean back like that and in the angle that he was to catch it, I think Bernard was the jumper, and he tried to jump and knock it down. But I mean, the way that Alan Lazard jumped and caught it, I mean, he did a great job.
Yeah,
like it was a hell of a catch.
And he played with Rodgers for so many years.
Exactly.
So, like I'm sure there's a chemistry of like knowing where the quarterback is gonna throw it. Like some quarterbacks just literally just launch it as hard as they can, don't know directions.
Right.
Looked like Rodgers was aiming for that
no,
exact
100%. I remember when he did it against Arizona, I think it was Richard Rodgers, the tight end that caught it. That was like some years ago in like 2012 or something. Yep. But I remember then that he kind of did the same thing. Like I feel like the offense is always trying to throw it to the guy that's not stationary, but the one that's moving across, because he has the best angle to maybe knock somebody out of the way. And if the ball's coming straight at the DBs, they're jumping linear, and this guy's going lateral. He'll almost like, it'll change midair for them, and they can't redirect and get there.
Right.
So that's why I feel like Alan Lazard, him going sideways like that, gave him the best opportunity. But it was a hell of a catch, and when he caught it, I seen him hit the ground. He's kind of sat there a little bit, and then the ball came out. Yeah, that was a great job by the official. That was a great job by the
I think the other thing that's made it difficult for the Bills is it was 8 seconds left, so they were probably in the middle of defensive, like, guard the sidelines in case you throw like a quick 10, 15-yarder for a field goal versus true Hail Mary defense. Right. So, like, I don't know what the call was at that time, but it did seem like they were in some type of, like, hybrid. Like, it wasn't just, like, drop 8 into the end zone. Right. It was like they only rushed 2, which is the other thing. I'm not a fan of rushing 2, but I get, whatever. Yeah. But then they had some dudes on the sidelines too, so it wasn't as many in the end zone.
So I think, what were they down? They were down 10 points at that point? Because it was 13-10.
It was a 10-point game, because they went into the half down 3.
Right. So the sideline, their thought process is they're trying to, because with 8 seconds left, you have the potential to get maybe 2 plays.
Yep.
If you have like a quick, out of bounds throw to just get you 5 yards, and that's enough for you to kick a field goal, or maybe they had an extra timeout and, they run like a deep sit over the ball, catch, get down, timeout. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of out of bounds, end zone out of bounds thought process.
Yep.
And that's why they had those guys sitting on the outside, which is great for like, out cuts. Because a lot of the times, I know Aiden Hutchinson got a pick like that a couple years in his rookie year.
Just kind of sitting on that.
Right. Yeah. Quarterbacks, they kind of forget, or they don't see him because you're standing on your own sideline. So you look like somebody on the sideline.
Right.
So that is a good move. Unfortunately, they went at the end zone and they got the touchdown. But I definitely think situation and how you approach situation at the end of the game and the end of the half, definitely, I mean, those are like the main points of when the game is won and lost. And you see that, like if that was, the end of the game and they threw that like that and they were down like, 6 points, they would have won the game. So, those situations end up becoming so important. And if you don't detail them enough, then they'll fall right through your hands, and it'll feel like the game just kind of ended and it didn't seem that big of a situation, but those things are huge.
Situational football is key. We're going to talk about that more later for sure. Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, no, real quick. You look at that scenario too at the end of that half. Buffalo gets the ball in the second half too. So they're already up 2 possessions. Right. Buffalo was kind of doing whatever they wanted on offense. That kind of shifts the whole momentum too. Yeah. Momentum's huge in football as well, where you're going down in the half, now down 10, Buffalo's getting the ball, you're kind of like, all right, we're not in this game anymore. Right. And all of a sudden you score that Hail Mary and you're like, all right, we're right back in this. It's a 3-point game.
Yeah.
So that was a huge shift, I think, in that game too.
No, and imagine if the Jets had the ball out of half. Like, I mean, I think double dip is like so important. Huge. When we played the Jets last year and I had the pick 6.
True.
We were going into half and we were going to get the ball at half, right? Yeah. And so we were trying to make a play on offense and it didn't end up going our way, right? And they ended up capitalizing with, I think it was 2 picks back to back.
It was 2 picks back to back.
So for motivation wise and for momentum, that was demoralizing for us. We're like, damn, it's got 2 picks. They got a pick 6, I think.
One was a pick 6,
right? So they scored, they got points. So for us, get that, and then we go out of, and that's motivation and momentum immediately. And then you come out of half. Imagine you score right at half. Right, you drive down, 4 or 5 minute drive, score. Then they get the ball back, 3 and out. You get the ball again. So now within the last 8 minutes, you have the opportunity to score 3 times and go up 3 scores on a team when they just had the ball 1 time. It's almost comical to not try to get those points before half at some point, whether it's a field goal. Or it's a touchdown.
Yeah. Last one on the Hail Mary, because you described the roles, and I don't think a lot of people knew that. I didn't know that, like the specific roles and definitely not the titles. When you I was trying to be serious.
I know you were like, especially on the title.
As he was listing everything out, I'm like, he's gonna mention that.
I knew.
What was your role? Like, can you take us through the pick 6? Like, what was your role, and how did you?
I've always been jumper. Okay. I think in high school is the last time that I wasn't jumper. My homeboy Jakar Goff, he played basketball. He's like 40-inch vert. So he was a jumper, of course.
So that's what decides it, like pretty much whoever is the DB with the highest vert.
So yeah, not DB with the highest vert, but it's like DB with the most ball skills.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm usually the jumper. And then like the corners are always in man and whatnot. So it's really amongst the safeties. But that last year, I think it was me, X, and Deshaun Elliott or Jay Rams.
Yep.
So X always wanted to go to the 3 receiver side every time because that's where the ball's gonna go.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm over here. I'm like, nah, bro. Like, I'm over here. So I think it was like halfway through the season when they ended up switching us, or I just kept like running to the 3-man side to like beat him over. I'm like, bro, line up. Like, so on that one, I'm 3-man side. I immediately walk around over there. So he lines up, and I ended up getting the pick 6, running it back, and I just kind of remember thinking like, yeah. boy, because we watching the film. And I was like, that's why I'm lining up to the 3 receiver side, because I do that. Yeah.
You knew you were scoring on that?
I knew I was scoring on that.
Yeah.
For sure I knew I was scoring. Because I almost did it in college, but they told me to get down. So
Was X mad at you?
Nah, he wasn't mad. Okay. He was happy for me.
Yeah. If you wouldn't have scored, he probably would have been like,
he would have been giving me shit though. Like, how you get talk about a quarterback or something, So, but yeah.
Speaking of these two teams, big news that just came out this week after they played their game, the Jets trade for Davante Adams, and then just minutes ago, Amari Cooper got traded to the Buffalo Bills. So
no way.
Yeah. delivering this news. I was on my phone a little earlier.
I was getting notifications on my iPad.
So we're recording this Tuesday. Both division rivals, Davante Adams to the Jets, Amari Cooper to the Bills. What's your reaction?
I mean, that's dope, bro. I mean, shout out to them for
making life a little harder for me.
I did not know that, but it's cool.
It just happened like 10 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool though. You got Tua and Tyreek and Dub. And you got Josh Allen, Amari Cooper. They got their receiver called Keon, Kincaid, all them guys. And then you got A-Rod, Devontae, Garrett. Allen. They got a bunch of weapons. So I think this division, AFC East, might have the most receiver talent in the league. I mean, there's a lot of guys.
There's a lot of dudes.
Yeah. I mean, even, what's his name? Even the Patriots have Kendrick Bourne coming off ACL. That's my dog. Glad he's back.
Really good player.
Yeah.
Really good player.
Jalen Polk. Even Pop. Demario
Douglas.
Demario Douglas.
Yeah, he's been balling.
Yeah, he's been balling too. So there's a lot of receiver talent in this division for sure.
I think we're built for it, though. I think we're built to be able to withstand. I mean,
no doubt.
Between you, Poe, Ramsey, Fuller, like we got a pretty damn good secondary.
No doubt.
It does make life harder though.
Oh,
I mean, these guys are these guys are elite players. Amari Cooper is some of the best releases in the game. So it's definitely gonna be fun playing them. I played Amari Cooper my second year when he was on the. I think he was on the Browns then.
Yeah,
he was
on the Cowboys. Your second year,
22.
That was his first year in Cleveland.
Yeah. So I played him then. I played Vontae 23. I played A-Rod in 2022, but Devontae was on the Raiders then. Mm-hmm. But so
that's right.
Yeah, I think I've played all of them so far.
What do you remember about those two receivers then? You say you play Amari and Vontae. What do you remember about them?
They're just real savvy. They kind of, I put them in the same category as D-Hop. Like they're just, well-known, savvy, knowledgeable vets that know how to get open, know how to catch the ball, know how to help the team. So definitely individuals that, you want to make sure you pay attention to, because if not, they can affect the game at a high level. So yeah, but that's cool, man. It just makes the games like more exciting when you're playing guys that you saw when, like, Amari Cooper was like one of the first. Amari Cooper, it was Julio Jones, Mario Cooper,
the Bama receiver.
You know what I'm saying? Calvin Ridley, like. So it's always cool playing names that I've seen when I was a kid and playing them in the league now. But
so obviously you just found the Amari Cooper news, but like I'm curious from like you guys in the locker room, if you hear something like that, does the group chat start buzzing? Like, do you start talking with your fellow DBs? Like, damn. Like,
I always make jokes because like I think it's funny that like somebody else gets a another like good player. You're like, damn, shit. No,
goddamn, like
Aaron Rodgers got it. But nah,
you need more help,
right? But I think it's gonna be. I think Rams is gonna love that. I think he's gonna love that. I know he loves going against like high level receivers.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah, bro.
Because Garrett's good, but Garrett's a different style of receiver.
No, bro, Garrett is nice, bro.
Devontae's like, not to take anything away from Garrett, but like Devontae, when you think about his style, the matchup with Ramsey intrigues me there more. Because Garrett's a little bit more, he's going to be getting you with the horizontal and the movements. Whereas Vontae can run damn near every route from anywhere. Right. And so it's really going to put a lot of pressure on the other corner too, like Kendall, because you can't just say, hey, we putting our one over here or doing the two and a safety help, like some teams do. It's
I mean, if you got like, two receiver offenses or that have like two prominent receivers, it's difficult a lot of the time because you focus on one individual, but they also have another one, so you have to like pick up in some areas. But we faced two receiver offenses, quite a bit in the league, and I think that we've done a solid job. I just think that our coaches, they're paid for a reason. They're professional coaches for a reason. They've got a game plan. They've got to do their due diligence to be able to stop those guys. But it's gonna be fun regardless. I always enjoy playing teams with loaded offenses because it makes the game plan fun. They could do anything. They could move guys around and whatnot. So I always enjoy it. I always enjoy that.
Bills game in a few weeks, I think.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah. 3 weeks. Hopefully, we don't know, but hopefully Von's back. At that stage. And then the Jets, the last month of the season, got them twice.
14 and 18.
Yeah, week 14 and week 18, the finale.
Two times in 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, the finale's in New York. The week 14's here in Miami.
Yeah, we did that my rookie year. Yeah, I played in the first game in New York, and then I had COVID the second game, so I didn't play.
Yeah, fuck, that's right.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting.
Should be a blast.
Yeah, it should be definitely a fun time.
Yeah. Well, this is a lot of fun. Fans, this episode was really for you guys. And Dre, I know we've been talking a lot to the fans about a giveaway. We're trying to do a giveaway for you guys.
Yep.
We talked about it. We want to get you guys involved. This show is about us telling stories, us interacting, but also you guys as fans telling us what you want to talk about. And we may want to talk about it too. We may not, but the request we put out on social media for Tuesday was send us your best questions. Follow us on all our platforms. Send us your best questions. The best question. We're gonna give a team exclusive.
We got some
merch?
team issued merch.
Okay.
Just some dope gear, pullover, whatnot. We'll make sure that we put some out. So
hey, that's awesome. Just something that's exclusive from the team. So you're gonna be rocking some of your friends. Not. And so
and if they did end up getting it, it was from Temu, and it's probably not real.
Yeah. Exactly. We don't know. It's allegedly.
Right.
Yeah, but we did have a couple fan questions coming up, right?
Yeah. We can go in through some of them now.
Yeah.
And then jump in some of the additional ones that come in on.
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
All right. So first question we got was for Vaughn. Why do you wear number 8? Thanks for making the game-changing play against Jax.
Shout out to that fan. But so I wear number 8. I wore number 3 in college. I was born third month on the third day. And so in high school, I wore number 3. And when I got to Oregon, I'm like, what numbers can I wear? I was like, can I wear 3? They're like, no, not available. So I ended up wearing 13. 13 is like a pretty prominent number at Oregon. A lot of really good DBs have wore 13. Troy Hill, yada. Shout out Troy, he's on the Panthers. So I ended up wearing 13, but our starting receiver, Dylan Mitchell, and our punt returner, he was wearing 13. So when I was on punt return as a blocker, they're like, we got to switch it up. By then, it was already, post training camp, and I was going stupid my freshman year. Like, I had, hella picks in training camp. So they were like, we got to change his number, Come into the locker room, leadership council, changed my number 8. So I was like, all right, cool. Rocking number 8 now. I just counted it as a 3 mirrored backwards.
Oh, that's cool.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep.
And the snowman reference just came from...
So our special teams coach, Danny Crossman, he's got a bunch of nicknames for everybody.
Okay.
Snake Eyes for 11 and whatnot.
Nice.
So it was, I think it was like training camp, and he was like, Snowman.
Yeah. So
I was like, all right. And then Mac Holland started calling me Snowman. He was on the team my rookie year.
Yeah.
He started calling me Snowman.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it looks like a emoji snowman.
Yep.
I'm from Canada.
Yep.
So,
true.
it plays well.
Yeah. So you like it?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah.
Do people, when you see, they call you Snowman when you see him out of...
Yeah, like some people call me Snowman. Some people call me Quick Draw Jev.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. They really, it's really, it's cool having like a nickname, but I know like that's Jeezy's nickname. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, oh man, we represent
any black dude, like,
yeah,
maybe like 30 plus. He's like Snowman, like that's Jeezy. I'm like, all right, bro, like he got it.
Yeah.
But it's cool, bro. I enjoy it.
All right, sweet. Second question, big golf, right? You're a big golf guy.
Big golf.
They want to know who the top 5 golfers are on the Fins right now.
I would say Jason
Sanders.
Reigns.
Yeah.
Jason Sanders reigns at number 1.
Okay.
Poe's good. Poe can play. Like, he was in a pro-am.
Really? I didn't know that.
He was in a pro-am.
I know he's cold, but
like, I was
didn't
watching
know...
TV and I was like just scrolling through the channels in the off season, and I was like, oh,
that's different.
But I didn't know him then, so I was like, well, it's Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
So Poe, 2 is good. Durham's good. I know he's good. We had played at Shell Bay, but I wasn't sure. I don't know what he scored, but I know he's good.
Yeah.
Braxton's good. Jake Bailey. Mike White was cold. Like, Mike White, we had like a simulator at the facility. Mike White can drive the ball like 340.
Sheesh.
Bro, he's
different,
bro. He's ripping.
He's incredible baseball player too.
Yeah,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a lot of skills.
Really?
Yeah.
He was ripping it, bro. Like, that front arm straight, like, crazy.
A crazy flex.
Yeah, I was like, bro, he was really ripping it. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anyway, yeah, so I'd say those are like the top 5.
And then you at 6?
I would want to put me at 6, but I think like Jake Bailey or like Blake Ferguson or something like that got me.
Golf takes time, man. It's a frustrating sport.
I would say the bottom 2 though, they're like probably the worst golfers on the team. Ethan Bonner, Elijah Campbell. Ethan just nah. Ethan just he got to figure it out. And then Elijah, he's Captain Hook. He just snap hooks.
He is a snap hook guy.
Ethan and Elijah.
Ethan, they definitely gonna be mad at you, bro.
Yeah, they gonna be mad at me all they want. Thumbs down.
I saw your comment on the extra
snap hook.
You saw that? The snap hook.
Just Bill's game. That's the.
It's like, damn, bro, did Ethan dirty?
Nah, those are my guys. We golf all the time, so I always be talking shit to them about golf.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Double thumbs down. I'm voting for golf. I'm better than both of them. I've only been golfing like almost a year. I'm better than both of them already.
Yeah.
And when I get back, I'm whooping ass. So.
For sure. All right, let's do Miami Minute. It's a segment we're going to have throughout the podcast. And the goal is just a minute for each question. We're going to keep it quick. It's towards the end of this pod. Appreciate y'all for listening. And we'll just fire it off. And Vaughn, you just give us your thoughts.
All right.
And so first question, I'm going to jump around. My first question, I got to know, because I love food. I think you love food.
Right.
All right, so it's Hispanic Heritage Month. We're finishing Hispanic Heritage Month. And so I want to know, you rank these foods that are common in Miami, not necessarily from Miami, but really popular here. Okay, so we got croquetas, empanadas.
Croquetas.
Empanadas, ropa vieja.
Ropa vieja, yep.
And what else did we say?
And then you had the Cuban sandwich on there.
Cuban sandwich. Yeah. Okay, so those 4 items, give me 1, 2, 3, and 4 for you.
Empanadas.
Okay, that's
Love
1.
empanadas.
Okay.
Right. Ropa vieja.
Okay.
What are croquetas? I haven't cried croquetas.
Croquetas.
These guys. They're like
Dre was ready. Yeah, he was like...
fried ham.
I think I might have had those before.
They're good.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of taste like a...
I don't know how you can describe it. I don't know how you can describe it.
I've already been wild.
I almost said meat mozzarella steak. That's actually crazy.
That's actually not a terrible way to go. It's basically exactly how a mozzarella steak would be on the outside, but yeah, just stuff with smashed ham, basically. Seasoned smashed ham.
Yeah.
They're pretty gas.
I've had them. It was like some event we had gone to. But I would say those are 3, and then Cuban sandwich. Not because Cuban sandwich is bad.
It's just the last option.
Sandwich.
What do we think, Dre? You agree?
All right. So it's a tough list because they all offer something extremely
different.
Unique, I guess you could say. Ropa vieja is like one of my favorite Cuban dishes.
Same.
I grew up eating this shit like every day.
Right.
So Ropa vieja, the croquetas are they're elite because they're tiny and you can just fuck up a bunch of them. Cuban sandwich would be 3 for me, and then empanadas would be 4.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I'm ropa vieja, empanadas, and then I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan of either of the other 2s. But I'm gonna keep it moving before I get a lot of hate.
That's crazy.
Favorite Dolphins game you've played in, and why?
Oh man, I would say the Detroit game.
Okay.
I think it was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago in 2022. One, it was just so weird. Like, I had been practicing free safety all week, and then they something happened with the roster, and they switched me to strong safety. Mm-hmm. So I ended up playing strong safety. So I had to learn while I was playing. I had to learn the calls and everything. 2 was because Verone, like one of my best friends, started that game. That was like one of his first games starting with me.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And he got officially signed to the roster for the first time. So that's my dog. Hopefully we can bring him back. I mean, I know this is not him.
Hey,
Verone.
Hey, we need a safety.
He's in Arizona.
Apparently, you know.
No, he's free agent right now. Free agent.
Yeah. Oh, is he really?
Let's bring back Verone McKinley, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, that's my dog. You know, he's great for the team. Great morale. I mean, come on, Danny
100%.
Crossman. Let's bring him back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I had to play strong safety kind of on the fly, which was like a cool challenge. Verone started that game, and then I was like going crazy. I had like 12 tackles or something like that, and it really felt good to like be out there learning it at halftime and learning it, you know, before the game started, and still being able to like be effective on the field. So yeah, that was dope.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's something new.
That game was a shootout, right? It was like back and forth the whole game.
I'm
trying to remember.
I can't remember. I think they might have ran the score up a little bit.
No, I think we won that game.
No, we won.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like they still scored.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's dope. Last one. Funniest teammate and least funny teammate.
Let me see. Funniest teammate. Probably like Nick Needham.
Really?
Bro, Nick is hilarious. Dude.
Okay.
If you just like listen to him sometimes, bro, he's comedy.
Shout out to Nick.
Nick is hilarious. Shout out Nick, you know what I'm saying, Streeter. And then least funniest teammate, probably Elijah Campbell. Yeah.
Elijah getting a lot of birds.
Bro, he's a smart ass, bro. If you ever golf with Elijah, bro, I swear to God, if you ever golf with Elijah, you're gonna understand what I'm talking about. Every time you miss hit, he'll be like, it's just not gonna work, man. It's not gonna happen. The biggest heckler, bro.
Yeah, so the opposite of that'll play. It'll be like, you're not gonna be able to find
that. Like it'll slice and he'll be like, it's out of there. He'll be like, you just, I mean, he's like, sounded good.
Yeah, that's fun.
Well, appreciate y'all for joining us for the first episode, and stick tuned. We got another one coming right up for y'all. Breakin House Rules.